Okay, good. What is it, morning? Okay, it's morning for me. I don't know what it is for you, but I'm going by my time. So this is a video I'm going to do. I want to show more of our Discord features because there are some alerts that are popping up that some of you might be interested in. Of course, I'm live streaming this at the same time on Twitch for our members so they can get the information immediately. But yeah, I'm going to record this and have it up on YouTube in a couple hours. I'll always do the usual, timestamp thing, so you could just kind of jump back and forth. If there is anybody in here currently from our group, feel free to ask questions in the stream, and I'll give you those answers if I can. So like we usually do, I'll just go through my Twitter, some things that I've posted recently. KLIMA, this is one of our RWA plays, and it is on one of our spreadsheets. And the thing that I'm seeing is that it could be recovering. It just needs to stay above the bullish line here. And even if it comes down to support, may buy some there. But the thing I like about it is that triangle. We like playing those triangles if it can break out of the top of it. And then Nansen, I reposted this from them. It looks like they'll have the Solana integration, which, that's one of the biggest things they're going to be doing this year. They'll have that Solana integration soon, and that will allow us to see all on-chain activity from smart money or just curated wallets that we're looking at, some of the best Solana wallets. We can see what they're buying in real time, and that'll be great. Don't worry about that. That's just a comment. This is the presidential chart that I talk about sometimes. So far, it's just kind of playing out. I did this little line, and there's nothing special about this. I'm not predicting the future necessarily. It's just that between the halving and the U.S. presidential election, usually it mostly goes sideways. And you can see between these two lines right here, it happened the same way each time. So I just kind of thought, well, it might look something like this. Could dip a little bit more first and then sometime after election take off. However, if we do get a breakout before election, then I think I have to revisit it and say, well, there's a possibility that we could dip into the election or after it, and then maybe in 2025 move up again. So, there's a lot of things that go along with that, macroeconomics and, just a lot of different things like unemployment, rate cuts, things like that. So we'll revisit it if we get a pump before election. But for now, everything looks fine. Talked about emotions being the most powerful thing, one of the most powerful things in the universe. It's important that you have control over your own, and if you don't, you need to work on that, because that will change your life. It'll completely change the way you view things, because you'll control your own life. And just mention that, in crypto Twitter, crypto X, it's used against you every day. Influencers, they create panic or FOMO based on the way that they choose to phrase whatever post or whatever video they're putting out there. And then market makers use it against you as well. They'll pump up price to make people jump in and then dump on them. So they're going to keep people guessing all the time. And sentiment is one of the best indicators that you can use. I'd say one of the top three, in that you are able to determine whether the price is going to go up or down based on what the majority of people are feeling. So if a lot of people are feeling fearful, maybe there's a lot of fearful news out there. And by the way, news does not affect price. The price affects news. Well, I wouldn't say it that way. Price happens before the news is posted. The narrative is already prepared. Imagine if you had created a token on your own and you knew that you were going to sell. And we've seen tokens do this, by the way, like OPSEC. I don't know if Space did it or not, but I know OPSEC has actually done it twice. They LARPed that one of their data centers went down. They used the same excuse twice and took a picture of some twisted cables, stuff like that. And they were basically fudding their own token because the dip had already happened. So they were trying to make an excuse for the dip happening. So if you ever see a team doing something like that, just don't ever mess with the token again, because they're just manipulating people and taking their money. I think that's really about all I was going to show. Yeah, here's one that I saw the other day. This was 4 days ago or so. MOEW. It's kind of a play on meow. It had showed up on Nansen, but it's still, I looked at it yesterday. It's still kind of below this bullish line, so it needs to get above that before that happens. And that level is what, 00099 or like 000, no, yeah, 00099 or 001, just somewhere in there. I think that's about it. Okay. Not much to say about Bitcoin, mostly going sideways. Not going to get into that. MOG is one I've still got pulled up because I'm still in it. This is one we did like a 40x on or something like that, and then it did a long consolidation. And it looks like it could still go to TP2, which is, how far is that? It's a 7x. I mean, I don't know for sure that it will. It's really largely dependent on what Bitcoin does. As long as Bitcoin keeps going sideways, and as long as we get a breakout out of this level right here, I think it can hit it. And I've compared it to things like MOG. You've seen that before. Oops, that is the wrong chart. Yeah, see how I created these boxes to make it look similar. I've showed this before, maybe you've seen it. So triangle breakout, one of the most powerful if you can find it after a consolidation. And then there's kind of a rest period. Here's a rest period. And then a longer consolidation. And usually this is about a 10x move. I think it might have been higher for this one though. Yeah, so well, it's probably more than 18x, probably over 20x, but I called this one down here. I called MOG down here as well. So you can see just how important these triangle breakouts are. So this was only like a 4x move for MOG, but then it continued up and it did about a 15, I believe. Yeah, about a 15x. So I got out somewhere up here. And then it's just kind of going sideways. And MOG will get going again too. Where is it at? Okay, yeah, it's down near a support line. I mean, this is back where it took off before. I mean, the only question really is, you know, is it a done project? Did the team take all the money out of it? I don't know. I mean, it doesn't look like a dump. It just looks like a controlled sell-off by whales, possibly. Kind of like what you would see with Cubic. You know, there's a lot of supply out there. A lot of people bought on this move, and now they're trying to sell. So it's not always the team. You'll know it's for sure the team if you see a big dip, like an immediate dip straight down. But this looks more controlled to me. And then KLIMA, I just talked about that. We're just waiting to see if it breaks out of that. This is some of the research. Let me bring up, this is some of the stuff I wanted to get into that I mentioned. Let me find, okay. So this is our Discord, and we have a research channel here. And we have a person within the, within the membership that, because they provide all this research, we give them a free membership. We also do things for the members, like we'll purchase, like we've got Nansen signals here that cost us money. We've got another thing right down here that costs me money to put out plays for them, or alert signals. And so we use some of the membership money to pay these fees, these monthly fees and stuff. Okay. Yeah, so anyway, there's some research papers here, like for Boson, SNSY, ZKML, things like that. And I've got one pulled up here where, the team's been doxed, you've got all that info, partnership info, stuff like that, and you can really go in and understand what the project's about. Which SNSY, it's kind of a future looking project where you can immortalize somebody so that, say they passed away, but you've got a digital image of them. And when I say digital image, I mean like their likeness plus their voice plus their personality, that sort of thing. And then AI uses that to where you can talk to them later on. It's kind of weird. I mean, I've seen some instances where a mom was talking to her AI daughter and she just broke down. There's some, I guess there's reason to think that it might not be such a good thing, but some people could see the benefit in having this as well. So it's easy to explain to someone, and that's number one. One of the ways that a token can gain a lot of traction. How easy is it to explain to somebody to where it can, be spread to other people word of mouth? So I think this is one of those, and I will bring up the chart here since I'm already talking about it. We bought near the bottom. Of course, we bought near the top too when it first came out. We thought it might take off, but we've been accumulating here. Oh yeah, it's actually looking pretty good today. Yeah, I thought maybe it might roll over to support one more time, but it looks like it wants to move back up to this bullish line. RSI is looking good. I don't know where my AI, why is this not, there it goes, okay. Yeah, so it does have an AI buy signal currently. When it gets near the 70 line here, you know, sometimes that's where you want to think about taking profits, but it can get above there and get even more overheated. So I think we might see some resistance here, but we'll just see how it transpires. But yeah, we bought the bottom. I know I bought right here, right around 9, maybe here. So we're up about 40%, not too bad. I mean, if I would have been watching closely and I saw this 100% move shortly after buying that bottom, I would have taken some profits there. But I wasn't watching it closely. So yeah, we do some research like that, and we've got the signal channels. I'll just briefly show you what these signal channels do. The people in our group already know, but you know, maybe there's some new people that don't know that joined in our group recently. So in so many words, what this does is it sends the signals from Nansen based on the curated wallets that we've already set up. So we know these wallets have high P&L. We know they've made at least, you know, like 500K realized profit in USD. And so if we see them jump into a play, we have a little bit more, like faith in the price going up possibly. I'm not saying it's going to always, because nobody's perfect. It does give us the opportunity to say, okay, let's look at this token at least, because it could be a good opportunity. And then we'll make a decision from there. You know, maybe the chart doesn't look as good. Maybe it does look like it could dip some more, and this person is just accumulating. You have to remember that people that have a lot of money, you know, 500,000 or $1 million, they can afford to make some mistakes and buy, you know, if they really believe in the project, they can buy a little bit earlier than somebody that doesn't have as much money to invest. You know, somebody with just a little bit of money would rather wait for a lower target possibly. So that's what this channel's about, this top smart money wallets. And then this one, well, I guess I should say this is all non-meme coin activity. So this is, although you do see some pop up here, usually it's going to be a little bit higher market cap. But then you got a degen wallet alert channel here where it's just meme coins, that's it. So we've got a degen channel where they like to do a lot of meme coins, and that's been the pivot this year. It seems like it has been meme coins more than anything, but we will get to where there's the higher cap tokens moving again. It'll happen eventually. So that's the difference between these two channels. And then we've got a Solana wallet tracker. We just added this recently and still, you know, working through it, going to do some more with it. But you can see this is the #1 soul trader on Pump Fund. I think they made like 1.3 million in the last 2 months. And the thing is, this person has a bot, you know, they jump in and out of plays pretty quick. But I've noticed that if I'm watching this closely and I see that they put, you know, like say right here, 5 SOL into Nagi, if I see that they did that, I can copy this token address real quick and either paste it into Photon or BullX or whatever. And, you know, if I'm within the first 10 seconds or 30 seconds, even if this person gets out, I've noticed that sometimes the token will pump, but you have to be real. I mean, it's extremely risky. I wouldn't be throwing a lot of money into this. I've just been testing it with like 0.25 SOL per trade, you know, trying to find trades where it's going to pump. But you know, there's so many of these teams that they can dump on you on these meme coins. You have to be extremely careful. It's highly volatile and it's risky and it's really gambling. I wouldn't recommend it for most people, but you know, if this is something you really want to do, that's how you do it. And then this is a new one that I just set up for Engineering Robo AI, which is a product you can purchase. It's an indicator on TradingView. I mean, you can DM me if you want to know more about it. But what it does basically is it gives you a daily buy or sell signal. And lately we've gotten a lot of sell signals, which means, you know, Bitcoin could dip. But the thing about these is, if price is mostly going sideways, like I'll give you an example here. So this is KLIMA Dow. If price is kind of in a channel here or in a triangle, you're going to get many AI buy, AI sell signals even on the daily chart. So, if you really believe in the project and you want to be in it, then all you can really do is just respect the signals. And since they only happen on a daily basis, you've got plenty of time to jump in and jump out. So right here, I'll just give you an example. Let's say you bought this. Well, let's even go back further. Let's say this was mostly going sideways all this time. If you're trading like a robot, then you're just trading these in and out. And maybe you take some small losses. Maybe you get a little bit of a win right here as well. But then all of a sudden, you purchased here and you ended up getting whatever this is. Let's see if you would have bought right there and then sold right here. So that's a 2x move. So you would have made a 2x with really very little risk because these signals are really solid. And what you're looking at right now is, sure, there's a sell signal, but if you were to get a buy signal now, there's a decent chance it could go up. And TP1 could be the next target. I don't know for sure. But that's what you would be looking for in this regard. Maybe you're jumping in and out, maybe getting a small win, maybe getting a small loss. But eventually, if you really think this project could do something, eventually you're going to get an AI buy signal that does take off like this one did. And I know 2x doesn't seem like much, but I'm trying to find... Well, let's do this. I'm going to give you some current examples. Let's not consider this for a second. Let's go into, we have two other alert channels. One is for our AI tokens that are on our spreadsheet. And these are highly curated tokens that have docs teams or partnerships, things like that. And so I'm going to look at some of those, and maybe we'll look at some of the RWA as well. Let me see. So I'm looking for outflow. Inflow means that people are selling. I want to see outflow or received. Here's one that just popped up. So these happen very often, and they're linked to Nansen. Here, I'm going to take this off screen so it doesn't cover that. And open up a few more. Okay. So let's take a look at these first. I want to look at the chart mostly, but there are some things here we could look at as well. Number one, this is Aether token. It came out not too long ago. We can see who in the last 24 hours has purchased. Don't worry about these little robot-looking emojis here. That is a market maker, to provide liquidity for people to buy and sell. What you'd really want to be looking for is, if smart money is in it. And this person has a lot of net worth, so we are interested in it. And we're just going to see where they purchased. And I can't really see it. I think they probably purchased the top, actually, because they still, oh, hang on. Looks like they sold. Okay, we can't look at that one. What we can do, though, is click on Smart Money and see all the wallets that are in it. And look at this turning up right here. This is pretty significant to me. So you got all this downtrend wallets, Smart Money wallets, the holders were at a peak of 23 at one point. And consequently, the total balance of tokens held was at a peak as well at that time. So as Smart Money wallets started to sell off and get rid of their, get rid of the holdings completely, now it looks like it might have bottomed out. And so you got 16 holders, you got 3 million token balance between all those 16 holders. So it's much lower than it was at one time. So this seems like a pretty good value in terms of, if you want to jump into something. This, I know that this fund right here, I think they're considered a fund, maybe not. Well, they're kind of considered a market maker because they use a bot, but they're not a true market maker. And they are purchasing lately over the last 24 hours. Then you've got two other people. Here's even a fund that purchased 9,000 worth in the last 24 hours. So these are signals, I believe, that without even looking at the chart yet, could be telling us this is a good buy. So let's look at the chart now. And I usually won't go through this whole thing, looking at that, at all of that before I look at the chart. Sometimes I'll look at the chart first. So here we are, Aether Cloud. This is what my chart looks like. It's mostly just been consolidating. It had a big pump, and then down and just consolidation. And I think this is very promising for it to hold this support because it's been going sideways for a while. Yeah, so currently it is bullish, bearish, sorry. Let me just see what the daily looks like. You always want to go to one of your higher time frames first. Yeah, it really just, it has to hold the support. It is under 50 RSI, so that's not preferred. I was telling our group recently that one of the most simple trading techniques you can use is what I'll just call it the 30-70 rule. Need to make that a little bit bigger. So we'll call it the 30-70 rule, and this has to do with RSI. And I'll preface this by saying 70 RSI equals overheated, and then 30 RSI equals cool off or oversold. Really, I should put this, let's do this. I want to keep the same terminology, so we'll call this overbought. So if you get up to 70 RSI, there's so many people in it at this point. This one got near 70 right there, so that was a good time to sell right at the bullish line, before it got over the bullish line. So this would have been a good place to take profits. It doesn't have to hit 70 RSI. As it gets closer, you need to be thinking about sizing out. Maybe don't take everything out, but start taking some, pay yourself back. But as it gets closer to 30 RSI, then it becomes a very good value. And at that point, it would probably be near support, or maybe it dips under it a little bit. But there's nothing to keep any of these tokens from getting back below this level. I just want to make sure that's clear. There have been tokens before that have gotten below that level and then recovered. And it doesn't mean that the team sold off on people. It just means that whoever the snipers were back here are getting out of the project and moving on to something that they can make money on quicker. Maybe it's just moving too slowly for them. Yeah, so currently, like if we were to look at a 12-hour chart, yes, it is near the 30 RSI. Usually I look at the daily, but just to use this as an example, here's the 70 touch, and now we're near 30. Could come down one more time and get under it. But, this is good enough at this level, would have been good enough to take a position. Of course, if it rejects here, then yeah, it's coming back down to support. But, everything is pointing towards smart money is accumulating this one, it seems to me. Okay, Parsec, I bought some of this not too long ago. There's really not a whole lot of activity on this one. Yeah, there's not many people buying this one. So it's not necessarily on anybody's radar, it wouldn't seem like. But we can look at smart money and just see what's going on. Yeah, we've got some funds in it. There's one fund. And yeah, there's just not much money in it. So in one way, I would say this is a good thing. As long as it gets some eyes on it in the future, you're buying at a very cheap price. So I'm already in it. 19 million market cap. It's a very low market cap. It's an established token. It's been around since, I don't know, maybe 2020, I'm not sure. I wouldn't recommend getting in too many older tokens. You want to be in the newer ones because they have the most hype. But sometimes these older tokens can take off because they haven't moved in years. And if we look at the chart of that one on Parsec, and remember, these are some of our spreadsheet plays that we have completely vetted. And what I was looking at, and what really interested me is that it looked like an inverted head and shoulders as long as it holds this support. It was 2021. So this one hasn't had a true bull cycle. It launched during the end of the last bull cycle. So I'm thinking, okay, it hasn't had a full one. I'd like to see what it can do, with a full bull cycle. So I'm thinking it could push back up. If it loses support, I'm probably not interested anymore, and I'll exit out of my position. But it is pushing up against the 50 RSI right now, and it needs to get above that. So yeah, we'll just have to see. The thing I like about it right now is as price is coming down, RSI is coming up. Sometimes that can indicate a bullish reversal, but we'll just see. Okay, and then our third one is MAZZE. 16 million market cap, a lot of activity. Let's see if any no smart money has gotten in the last 7 days, and we can look at what total smart money balance is here. There's one of our curated wallets that is in this one. I wonder if we can, let's see when they got in. Yeah, they got in way down here at the bottom. They never took any profits. Yeah, this would have been a good place for profit taking, anywhere here or here. They got 2 opportunities and didn't take any. So you think about the mentality of somebody like this that missed out on profit taking. If it was to push back up into this level, they may say, well, I'm going to take some profits. But what if third time's the charm on this and it finally breaks out? But just think about the mentality of people that bought lower than you. If they're at like a 2x, 5x, 10x, that's when you're going to start seeing resistance. And you don't want to be buying into that resistance usually. This one could be a different case where it actually breaks out this time. Let me pull up MAZZE. I've got all of these charts saved. There's links to all these charts on our spreadsheet. So if you feel like this is something that would be of value to you, in the description there is our link to the Discord channel. And we are hitting 70 RSI currently. It can stay up here for a while. But it could also reject there. And there is a lot of resistance right there, by the way. Like if I was to put a line kind of right in the middle of this area, yeah, it's trying to hold that line right now. So as long as, and really that's the bullet, well, no, this is still the bullish line. So this is kind of a first take profit area, I would say, because you're hitting this 70 RSI. So anybody in this, if you bought low, let's say you bought down here, that's a 1.5x for you. But we'll see. I mean, as long as this thing holds the bullish line right here, it's fine. All right, let's take a look at a few more. I mean, this is why I like to use Nansen Smart Money combined with my charting ability, combined with Engineering Robo. I mean, there's a lot of factors that you can look and say, okay, well, 2 out of 3 of these are bullish. Then, that's a pretty good signal. I feel better about this play than I would if I was just looking at the chart. All right, so we can look at token, which is TokenFi. We can look at TrueFi, and I'll just show you what I'm looking at here. Like smart money received Pendle, that means people are buying. TrueFi, centralized exchange outflow, that means money is coming out of the exchange and into smart money wallets, or just wallets in general. And then TokenFi here, same thing, outflow. Let's see, MPL. Yeah, MPL, oh, that's an inflow, sorry. So inflow means that people are selling. Okay, so let's look at these 3 as another example of another channel that we have, another signals channel. Let's see, so we'll start. Let's see, I brought up token, I brought up TrueFi. Is that the only 2? Oh yeah, Pendle I wanted to bring up. All right, we'll start with TokenFi. Let me just get rid of some of these other ones. Yeah, so the volume and price is going down together, but the volume is getting real low here on TokenFi. This is the same team that did, what did they do? Floki. So it's an established team. And there's probably plenty of people out there that trust them at this point. This might be, oh, okay, this is on Ethereum and BNB maybe? I wonder what smart money looks like on each. So DWF Labs is in this one. They don't like to lose money, so you can figure that they're going to only invest in things that they believe in, teams that they believe in. 2 curated wallets that we follow, one of them that's a 90% win rate, or was at one time. I need to check on them. And I'll just show you that real quick. Let's just see. Maybe I haven't looked at this one in a while. So if you look at if you go on Nansen here, yeah, there's still 90% win rate. I think this is a new wallet though, so there's only 11 trades. But they're doing pretty good with this wallet regardless. All right, so TokenFi, yeah, quite a few smart money in it. There's a fund in it. Let me see what the BNB side looks like. Might be the same. No, there's a few different ones here. Okay. And then if we look at the chart, I think I'm done looking at that. Yeah, so let's look at the chart. And so we looked at previously, right here, we were looking at AI token alerts. And this is RWA token alerts, which we feel like those two are the top narratives. However, gaming is going to get moving at some point, and we are working on a gaming spreadsheet as well. So that'll be coming. All right, token Phi sitting right above the bullish line. That's good. It did hit the 30 RSI, which was a good place to buy. Look back here. I mean, this is why the 30-70 rule works. So back here, we hit the 30 RSI shortly after it launched. Perfect time to buy. And you had a move of, we'll just stay conservative. We'll say that's a move of about 5x. So, I mean, it's really not that hard to make these plays. I would just do this on a daily chart, usually. You know, wait for it to hit 30, and then once it gets up to 70, this is where you would start taking profits. You don't have to take it all out, because like I said, sometimes it will hug this 70 line for a while, just like this. So if you would have sold, I mean, this would be like a 2x move, or even here would have been like maybe a 50% move or something. So maybe you take 10% out there, 10% out here, 10%. It dips hard, that's a warning. And then, you know, maybe you'll take even more up here or more as it comes down. So you're just slowly accumulate, and then you slowly take it out as it goes up. But remember, the impulses up take much shorter time than the consolidation or the dips. You know, most of the time, tokens are doing this. They're either going sideways or down. So you do have to take advantage and get some profits out when things go up. You don't want to round trip on these things. Yeah, so if I was looking at RSI, I would say, okay, I don't know, something like that. I would say, okay, once RSI broke out of this line, it's probably go time for this one. And it can dip down to the support still, so just be aware of that. Currently it's at 063. I think that's all I want to say about that one. Yeah, I mean, it's just consolidation, people taking profits, stuff like that. It'll get going again, I believe. TRU Phi, don't know much about this one. It's a DeFi protocol on Ethereum. And this is another great thing about Nansen. They're consistently and constantly adding new features. And that's also in the description. If you want a 10% off code for a yearly Nansen subscription, then you know, check that out. It's just buy it for sale. You put my name in there for the discount code, but you have to do it on a yearly, and it has to be a new account or one that's never purchased a subscription before. Okay, so what did we say this was? TRU Phi. Okay, so this one had a really good move. It's consolidating. Volume's about, I don't know, half of what it was during the pump. There's a little bit of activity, but the amount of money being spent is not that high. Well, here's a few. That's a market maker. There's a couple high net worth wallets here that are purchasing. Let's look at who is holding. Yeah, I mean, it's flattening out here. Probably going to start getting some new wallet holders, but it's down to 6. There is a Jump Capital's pretty good. That's a fund. They're one of the better ones. But as far as other individual wallets, there's not too many holders currently. So yeah, not too many eyes on it, kind of like with Parsec that we were looking at before. But if we look at, I mean, we're just looking for projects or tokens that are in a spot where we're getting a good value. And that's really what I'm looking for. It might be struggling to get back above this bullish line. Let's see. Let me turn this on. Yeah, it's under the 50 RSI on the daily. So I think it's more likely this comes down to the support. But if it does, it seems to me there's a lot of support in that area, even if it dips just a little bit under. Yeah, I mean, I could see that happening. There's a couple different ways you could do this. If it gets a daily candle back above bullish, you know, the bullish line here, and I draw these myself, the AI program doesn't do this. The AI engineering robo only gives us these signals, so it's just a helper more than anything. But if you get above that, price action is king. If a daily candle, full daily candle closes above the bullish line, then it could be time for it to move up some more. But if it continues to struggle, then this would be the buying area for me anyway. So it's showing a little bit of weakness, but if the RSI gets back above 50, you're good. And sometimes these have too much chop on the RSI, and you need to go to like a weekly chart because it's a token that's older. This was back from the early part of 2021, or maybe even the 3-day chart. And you can see the 30 RSI idea worked out here as well. Perfect buy, perfect buy. And this is a pretty good sell here. It dipped after that. So you could throw a 50. You could say, okay, well, what's another rule I can use? Well, if you get a pump, usually you're going to get a 50% retracement. And so if you get a move above 50 RSI and you take some profit here and you say, well, where do I want to buy back at? You could consider buying back at the 50 RSI mark, or if you want to take your fib tool here, you could say, okay, I'm going to buy the tokens that I sold up here back at the 50% line, which is right here. So see how that works? Hopefully that makes sense. It's not always going to work perfect like that, but it tends to pretty often. And so now you're back up into the 70s here, took some profits. If you didn't take them all here, then number one, you would have bought back here at 50 possibly. But then this is a lower high on the RSI here, so you would have said, okay, I better take out more because lower high is not good. It's showing that momentum is slowing down on it, not as many interested parties as far as buying it. So let's just get out completely, and we'll see what happens at the 50 line. So just taking all that into account, that there's been a move. Let's say if somebody bought down here, they're up 6x or so, 5 to 6x. People want to take profits at a 5x, right? So yeah, I think getting back above the 50 RSI is important here. Of course, that's the weekly chart or the 3-day chart. Well, yeah, daily showing the same thing. It's still under 50. The lower you go, the earlier you can get in, but the problem is there's a lot of signals. Like if I go down to like a 3-hour chart, look at all these, it's just crazy. Look at all these signals that you get. If it'll pop up. Yeah, see, it's just too confusing. You'd be in and out so often. So for most people, the daily is the lowest I would go. And sometimes if a token has a lot of history, you want to go to the weekly and just kind of consider where things are currently. If there's been a pump recently, consider that maybe it's a better idea to, buy lower. Maybe don't get in here. Wait to see what it's going to show you first and see if it gets back above the bullish line. All right, that is TrueFi, and now we'll look at Pendle. Pendle's getting a lot of activity. This was a very popular one, and I'll be open about this. I screwed up bad on this one because I did see it pop up on Nansen, and had I let our Discord know, we would have made a lot of money on this one like we did with some of the ones that we did 40x, 50x. I think we even did 60x on some. So sometimes I fade these because we've got too many plays that we're already in. And yeah, you can have regrets, but I don't know. It's just hard to catch every play, right? I try my best to find all of them, but there's no way that we can be in every one of them. And the most important thing is that you have conviction. I've talked about this before, I can make calls all day. And that's the easy thing because I'm not getting into every one of them. I'm just putting it out there and saying, hey, this one looks like it could do something. It's on you to have that conviction to get into it. And that's what I applaud, is that you actually have the conviction to get into these and to take the risk. And remember, don't ever risk more than what you can afford to lose, because if you got a family or you've got bills to pay, you always want to take care of that first. You don't want to be in debt, which I know is tough now because inflation and everything, but anyway. So Pendle, yeah, it's mostly just in a downtrend. Although when it comes to smart money purchasing this one and new wallets showing up, it's kind of in an uptrend. You got two funds are in it, maybe 3. No, there's a 4th one, DWF. So one thing to consider with these funds is that they got in early and they got a low price. there's going to come a time in the future, if we do get a good pump, if that alt season does happen, which I believe it will. So say if it's next year, if it's this year, whatever, consider that these funds like to make money and that they have a target they're looking at. So if we ever see, and if you're in our Discord group, you can ask me to check, but if we ever see these things turning red here, showing that somebody is selling off, it's a signal that we're starting to hit those targets, that they're waiting for. And you can see, they got $8 million worth right now. Some of these have a lot of money, and this happens on a lot of tokens. It's not just this one. So you have to consider that eventually they're going to sell and they're going to cause your bags to go down as well. So just something to keep in mind, that price doesn't go up forever. Pay yourself. Don't have that regret of round tripping. Just keep that in your mind at all times. You even got a high net worth person here that has 1.2 million. That's one of our highly curated wallets that has 300K of this. And if we look and see where they bought, oh yeah, they bought way early. So let's just take this into consideration. Always think about the mental side of it that most people don't think about. They bought at 75 cents. For whatever reason, they didn't sell at $7. They probably should have. They should have been taking profits on the way up. So now it's back at $4. I don't think they're going to be interested in selling here either if they didn't sell back here. So what they're waiting on, they're a long-term player. They want to wait for the very high valuations. And I'll pull up the chart here in a second and show you what those might be. But just keep that in mind, that people bought much cheaper than you. And if they did that, what is the target they could be looking for? So you got a guy that bought at 75 cents or a girl that bought at 75 cents. They didn't sell at $7 for whatever reason. That's a 10x. Maybe they're waiting for a 20x. So once it gets back up to 7, I would say, maybe people are thinking about taking profits out now. Maybe this person is saying, hey, I didn't do it last time, but I'm going to do it this time. Or possibly they're waiting for a 20x, 50x, who knows. But just keep that in mind, that people, they've got targets they're looking at too. It's not just us trading. And then here's a look at their wallet just to kind of get an idea. Why is it saying, this is one I've been following for a while. I don't know why it's saying they only have 6 trades. That's odd. Oh, that's on the 90-day. So they haven't been trading much. Yeah, so they're about a 60% win rate, which is great. They get an 18.5 million realized P&L. That's amazing. So it's definitely one of the best wallets in Nansen, or what Nansen tracks. So yeah, we can trust this one pretty well. And here's some of the tokens they're in. And there's just so much information here with Nansen that if you're not using something like this, I think you're shortchanging yourself. How do I switch this again? We're not able to see. Oh, here it is. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so here it is, 60% win rate. Their average ROI is almost 2x every trade, which is great too. Let's look at all of their tokens. So they've got some unrealized gains here, and we can look at that. Where is it at? Well, they've sold some of this. Are we on all chains? Okay. Oh, I need to put it on all. Yeah, so see here, they've got a 4x unrealized profit or gain. So here's all the ROI that they haven't taken yet, and they're just going to hold through it. So they got a lot of the ones that we have as well. Pendle, MAZZE, OLM. That's one we've talked about before as well. Here's KLIMA. I didn't even know they were in KLIMA. So there you go. Could be a good reason to get into KLIMA. Maybe I will even. I wanted to watch it for a few days to see what it did first, though. Where is it at? I'm really hoping KLIMA can break out of that triangle to the upside, because that's a lot. It's very similar to what MOG did, but it did have a pump first, so that's why I'm a little bit skeptical. I need to see it hold above that bullish line. All right, so let's look at Pendle, and we'll just wrap it up here because I don't want to make these too long. And if you like this format, we can keep doing it this way. All I care about is the spreadsheet plays for the most part, or our long-term plays, which we have Where's our long term? Right here. So we've got some plays here that we consider, and I've got little notes here off to the side, but we consider these to be some of the best long-term plays as well. So between this and the spreadsheets, you've got everything you need in our group. And we talk about degen plays all day as well, you know, meme coin plays. So we really cover all of the bases. And I think that's about all I wanted to say there. We do have a, you know, those long-term plays are in the alerts channel as well. But, you know, sometimes we have some tokens that just pop up out of nowhere, and we'll play those as well if smart money is in them. All right, Pendle, if we step out to the weekly, it had a massive move like we were talking about before. It's about, what, 11x? So really it did the same thing. I mean, you could even say this is kind of a, well, it's not really a triangle breakout. I don't know. Anyway, it was in a downtrend. It broke out of it. And now I think there's, you know, because RSI is below 50, I think there's a chance it could dip down to support here. But, you know, if you like this one, you could buy it as it gets close to the bullish line. And as long as it holds the bullish line, you're good. And then there's your take profit areas. So yeah, I mean, currently it's bearish, clearly. What does the daily show? Yeah, bearish on the daily. Yeah, same thing as that other one we were looking at. You would just want to wait until RSI broke above a line, you know, a trend line like that. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Y'all let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Hit the like and subscribe if you're not. And sorry I missed the video last week. Just had a lot of things going on. Maybe I'll do a second video this week to make up for it. But y'all have a good rest of your week, and we'll do another one real soon. Thanks for joining.